They're buffing the Railgun. The game's gonna die. How could they do this? The Railgun meta will be back and the game will be over. Folks are freaking out. I love it. The Railgun's damage will get a boost too. Durable damage will be increased from 60 to 225, and fully overcharging damage will be increased from 150% to 250%.
What have we done to the Railgun?
We booted it up again. The
They
Railgun
it.
does a lot of damage to normal enemies. It didn't do that much to very large enemies. So we kind of quadrupled that from 60 to 225 in durable damage.
Okay.
Just in safe mode, it will be stronger. Normally, if you charge it up like close to full, you did 50% more damage. Now you'll do 150% more.
Does it still have the same overcharge time as before?
Yes.
If all remains the same, we have Theorycraft numbers from Contrite 17. 2-shot charger heads in safe, 1-shot in unsafe, 2-shot behemoth chargers in unsafe, 2-shot ball titan heads in unsafe, Hulk bodies get rolled in 2 shots in unsafe, and tank turrets die in 2 shots in unsafe. I would be skeptical on this, not because I don't believe them, but just because the game will probably be changing the enemies in some way, fashion, or form. And even if it doesn't, and it comes out exactly like this, I'm logging in day one to roll some monsters because it'll probably get dialed back. Because an unsafe Railgun shot will deal 1500 damage and 562.5 durable damage. For reference, Commando does 450, and Recoilless deals 650. It'll do more damage and take the same time to charge. Glorious. Now, I am uniquely qualified to discuss the Railgun changes because I'm a big fan. I've also talked about it in great detail and wrote some stuff down here. Before all that, let's go ahead and cover the PS5 bug real quick. You could 1 to 2 shot Bile Titans using the Railgun and Arc Thrower. Arc Thrower is hard to do because you can't choose where it shoots, it just goes. Railgun you could. All you had to have was a PS5 player in your party, and if you weren't the host, you did big damage. If you also had poor connection, apparently, the same thing applied. When I played solo, never had those results. I played in a party with a PS5 player, 1 to 2 shot Bile Titans, didn't have to try. Even in safe mode, you could do that. There was no secret spot to hit. The folks that kept saying that back then were driving me absolutely insane. Y'all are probably expecting a product placement cutaway, and you should. Odo Dojo coin, golden dollar, bigger than a quarter. Dojo coin, massive. 20 bucks on PayPal, USA only for now. I'll figure out UK shipping eventually, and or use my code on echovision.com. It's Odo. Get some protein, creatine, what have you. So at the top we have Hulk time to kill. Takes 1 Railgun shot, and because of that, folks will say, it's insane versus automatons. Not realizing that the autocannon takes 2 shots to a Hulk, AMR takes 2, and even the Arc Thrower takes around 2 to 3. It's just hard to aim the shock because it goes where it wants. If you could aim it, that's going to be kind of fun to use. Moving forward though, we have the old Railgun time to kill before it got buffed. After the buff, on certain things, it's a lot better. On others, it's not too crazy in some aspects though. But it took you 1 shot to kill everything up until a gunship. And at this time, it took you roughly 10 shots for a gunship. Tanks, 10 shots for sure. They don't move. It's really hard to not get the proper damage on a tank. So 10, that was the time to kill. On the weak spot, by the way, on the vent on the back, it took you 10 shots. And Factory Strider, it was around 20, but we'll say I was aiming at it wrong because it has 2 doors underneath, and shooting both doors, you're not going to kill it as fast as you should, apparently. So we'll say 10 for the Factory Strider, which is still crazy. And I even went for the eye at the time, and it wasn't that much better. Or better at all, honestly. So that is what we used to deal with. It's a bit better now. Gunships are, I think, 2 or maybe 3 max charge shots, which is still a while, considering there can be 4 gunships. That's a lot of ammunition and time charging. That matters. But for buff numbers, this is what I have written down here. These are max charge shots for the unsafe mode. Safe mode is whatever the max cap is, like 70%. And some folks will see these numbers and say, that's crazy, the game's going to be too easy. Not realizing, again, that the autocannon can kill everything on this list except for the Bile Titan in less than 7 shots. Gunship, autocannon kills in 2 shots on the engine. Factory Strider, it's 6 shots. Tanks, it's, I think, 3, I forget, something like that. Hulks, 2. Chargers, 3 to 4 on the wagon, the young backsocks. And AMR isn't that far behind. It just takes you a mag and some change on the Factory Strider, and I think 7 shots on the tank. And it's pretty bad against Chargers and Bile Titans, but oh well. So I just failed to see how folks were ever defending the Railgun being scuffed against these monsters. And I've said that for a while now, that the Railgun should not be bad against these these enemies. It should be good against the bigger enemies. It just should. It makes no sense that it's not. And I am just so freaking glad to see this change of heart from Arrowhead, man. You guys don't understand how much more fun the game's going to be. People are not really grasping that the ability to use more weapons and still feel useful is going to change everything. You'll just have the ability to enjoy the game in different ways. That is so absurdly good. Maybe it depends on who you ask. Sorry, bro, 90% of folks whining about any nerfs clearly showed they have little to no game sense. Good on you if you want or need an easy play button. But that thing already exists. It's called stick to level 4 or below. Other people like the challenge. I feel like these other people like the idea of the game being seen as challenging, and the more folks that can do the harder content will take away from their achievement, which is kind of weird. It's selfish and lame. It's just ridiculous. But this whole concept of doing a lower difficulty, level 4 for instance, is crazy. That is just less content. You're facing less enemies, you're facing less variety of enemies, you're doing less objectives. It's not even as fun. If you want challenge, ask them to make the objectives more challenging. They're too easy. That's the dealio. You shouldn't be wanting weapons to be bad. That makes no sense. Instead, ask for more complex objectives. Maybe interesting puzzles that eventually will become pretty easy to do, but still maybe somewhat fun. Because I like that little terminal thing where you change the floodgates and it makes a line. You know what I'm saying? I hope. I like that. It's simple, but it's kind of neat. So maybe more, but slightly more complex objectives in that nature. That's how you get more challenging missions. Because right now, you don't have to shoot your guns to beat the game. And people always talk about viable. Weapons are viable. That word it has no meaning in gaming. Because in this case, you can use any weapon and beat a mission. So that makes it viable because you can win using the weapon. But how good is it versus actually killing the monsters? How good is a weapon at being a weapon? It changes now. Now the conversation's different because chances are the weapon's not very good at all at killing things. When that's the whole purpose of it existing. The issue with the game isn't the weapons or the balance. Dang near everything is viable, like I was just saying. You just aren't a one-man army. Teamwork solves dang near every problem. But hey, people are happy with it until they get bored. Well, yeah, I think that people will get less bored when you have more things you can use and experience the same game in different ways. What's not clicking? That's crazy. People, they think they're so smart. Like, just think logically. Critical thought is your friend. I promise you. Unless you overthink, in which case, sometimes it helps you to think less so you can do more. I can guarantee you two things. The first is a few folks saying the buffs are a terrible idea are going to love them when they play the game with the update. The second thing is there will still be complaints. Maybe even from me, although I've been a lot better about how I voice my critiques. They're a lot more critiquey these days. Before I was a bit more complaining. I've said it a lot, that's how I wasn't before. But that's because things won't be perfect, and that's fine. It's not a bad idea, a bad thing to suggest more change. More change just means more updates. Simple. Now, I'm going to be I'm talking absurdly lenient for a while, just from the surface level thinking, or the surface view we have, this is what I've been asking for essentially about a month after the game came out. For sure 2 months after. Like, I've been asking for this stuff for a couple months now, and I'm beyond excited. And the devs have said they're going to work on difficulty after this update launches. They want to see how people feel about it, and then they'll work on difficulty. They might tune some stuff. That's a given. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind as well. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, this is too easy, this is too hard. It's going to be, is it fun? Does it feel fun to use the weapons? That's going to be the most important thing to feel out. Anyway, that's the video. Might do this again tomorrow. Might do it every day until the patch updates. Who knows? But thank you all for watching. As always, have a good day or night. Peace.